After admiring the aftermath of my less than affable attack on the absolutely ass show Yellowstone,
Verily, this vichyssoise of verbiage veers most verbose.
I began to collect some data on what the people wanted to see next. By far the most common request was, do Landman next, gotta do Landman. You asked, and now you shall receive. I'll be honest guys, something about the expulsion of the vitriol I had towards Yellowstone made it so as I was watching Landman, I just couldn't hate it as much. Maybe it was finally seeing Yellowstone for what it was, but it helped me to come to terms with some of Taylor Sheridan's more obnoxious tendencies when it comes to writing and storyboarding.
I can't hate him. He is so transparent in his self-interest that I kind of respect him.
So, I feel like being less harsh. Sure, I took copious notes because there's a ton that I find irritating, contrived, or otherwise sloppy about the way this show is written. But what can I say? I don't hate it as much as I hate Yellowstone. I already got most of that out of my system. What's that? What's that?
What's that? What's that?
You don't care?
I cannot.
You still want to hear all the notes I took as I suffered my way through this show, nitpicky or otherwise?
Oh?
Well, okay then. Buckle up, because this is going to take a while. The sound that means, buckle up, bitch, you're about to watch a Taylor Sheridan show.
Then they'll send 30 Tier 1 operators from Triple Canopy, and they'll bust you like a f***ing pinata. And if any of you dipshits do make it back to Mexico, they'll blow your f***ing house up with a drone.
Here we have Billy Bob Thornton doing his best Beth Dutton impression, threatening cartel members that have him completely at their mercy. You may say in response, as my wife said when I was watching this scene, that money talks. And that's why these cartel people abide Billy Bob Thornton's foul tongue. May I kindly remind you that these are cartel people. You know, some of the most violent and volatile fuckers on planet Earth. I would not ever risk talking to them this way under any circumstances. I mean, just look at what the boss did when his subordinate explained why they hit Billy Bob Thornton. So they're trying to establish that this guy is not to be trifled with, yet Billy Bob thinks it's a good idea to antagonize him? By the way, I'm not using Billy Bob Thornton's character name because we're literally 5 minutes into this show and we don't even know it yet. 5 minutes in, and I can already tell that Landman shares a shit ton of inbred hillbilly DNA with its drooling f***wad of a cousin to the northwest.
Secure the lease, then manage the people. First part's pretty simple. It's the second part that can get you killed.
Credit where it's due. I like the premise. I like this opening expository monologue. I love Billy Bob, but I also feel a great sense of dread as I begin this show.
Nah, I think Baby's better.
Wow, I was literally just getting Narcos Mexico vibes. Knock and it shall be opened, huh? I swear, I did not look at the cast list before I started this show. All I knew was John Hamm was in it, Demi Moore was in it, and Billy Bob Thornton was in it. I had no idea Michael Pena would be showing up. This is a pleasant surprise.
A surprise, to be sure, but a welcome one.
Can I have a latte?
Oh, what? You just ordered a latte? We don't have time to wait for a latte. What is wrong with you? Then why can't order a latte?
Why do I feel like this isn't that serious? Blue-collar workers that get up really early in the morning and carpool? Let me know in the comments if I'm way off base here. Would he really not be allowed to order a latte just because it takes a little bit too long? Just feels like a weird Sheridan authenticity detail that's probably incorrect.
Have you seen her new boyfriend?
God damn it, hold on, I'm pulling over.
Look at this kid. I mean, she could get pregnant from the f***ing photograph.
Why does this lady have a printed out picture of her 17-year-old daughter's boyfriend on hand? Like, what the fuck?
As long as he never in me, she can anywhere on me.
Well, that's a dialogue choice. Yikes.
Jesus, lady, you ever hear of a f***ing condom?
You gotta learn how to speak Spanish, because I'm not speaking English all f***ing day. This is cerveza, parrilla, and that's carne. And when you're drinking a beer, you say, estoy tomando una cerveza. You know, if I ask you something in English, just ask me how to say it in Spanish and you'll be bilingual in a month.
What a shitty way to learn a language. Here's some vocab words. Here's a sentence you can use while you're drinking beer. What do all the words in this sentence mean? You're shit out of luck, bud. I'm not going to teach you that. Not only is he conjugating verbs without teaching Cooper the infinitive form of those verbs, or the conjugations, or the rules for how you conjugate verbs in Spanish, he's also using the gerund form of the verb too.
Estoy tomando una cerveza.
Maybe Cooper can learn a very superficial version of Spanish this way, but it's going to take him an ass ton of time, and he'll never have a firm grasp on the language until he understands its structure.
Oh, yeah, come on, boy.
Huh, it really is Narcos Mexico. Michael Pena dies and everything.
Quit eating that shit, it's gonna kill you.
Says the 2-pack-a-day smoker.
You ever been to Japan? The whole country smokes. 90-year-old men sucking on filterless Pall Malls and doing an hour of Tai Chi in the park. Same thing in China, same thing in Italy, and they don't even exercise. Countries have in common? Lung cancer ain't even in the top 10 leading causes of death. It ain't cigarettes, it's sugar and shit like that kills you.
So, you're admitting that smoking is heavily correlated with lung cancer? This scene is fucking stupid. This just in, Dr. Sheridan has announced that eating processed foods is worse for you than smoking 2 packs of cigarettes a day. Blow me. That wouldn't even pass the sniff test for a pack of Beth Dutton fans. Also, I immediately Googled it and found conflicting information within 10 seconds. Alcohol and tobacco consumption are major drivers of morbidity in Italy. They account for about 1/3 of the deaths in Italy. Verifiably wrong within 10 seconds of Googling. Not even 1 minute later and we get this peach of a line.
Morning, Daddy.
Oh, morning, baby.
Is she using daddy as a metaphor?
That's my daughter.
Good God, I'm hating the writing in this show already.
Well, you find anything out, you let me know.
You'll be the first one, trust me.
Find out anything and let me know. Throws phone. Well, how's he gonna let you know now? You threw your goddamn phone into the bushes. Does John Hamm's character just keep like 3 phones on his person, all somehow with the same number in case he needs to chuck one away in rage? Stupid writing. Sheridan wants him to perform a grand gesture so we as the audience know that he's upset, but this is just a dumb way to do it.
No other pain?
Just where I hit my hand with a fucking hammer.
I'm gonna call in a hand specialist. Reattaching this is...
It's just a tiny piece of a pinky. I ain't dicking around with 12 surgeries for a fucking year. Just cut it off and sew up the fucking top.
I would strongly advise you against that.
Well, either you do it or I'll do it. It's a surgeon right here.
Well, hold on. Oh, that's nice.
There she is. You care to stitch it?
Wow, what a badass. Except the doctor is f***ing right. Stupid. First of all, no one's pain tolerance is this high. Broken bones hurt like a motherfucker, not to mention the damage that he's done to the tendons and the nerve endings in that finger. Finally, choosing to lose part of your finger instead of dealing with some surgeries and physical therapy for a year is actually dumb. The trauma that he just put his finger through by cutting it off is probably going to take multiple months to a year to heal from anyways, so you might as well have gotten it fixed. Dumb f***.
I'm sorry, but I lost 3 friends and a finger today, so I'm a little edgy.
Well, whose fault was the finger, asshole? You don't get to complain about it, you chose to cut it off.
That wasn't me, that was you.
I realized something about Taylor Sheridan after watching this episode. I've known people in my life who are so sure of being right all the time about literally everything that whenever they say something that sounds wacky, I have a visceral need to go and fact check them. Sometimes the urge that I get to grab my phone out of my pocket and start Googling is so violent, it's kind of a miracle I haven't broken a finger in the process. I think that Taylor Sheridan is one of those people. He needs to spout his worldview and be right. And if the facts don't support his theories, well, he
begins to twist facts to shoot theories instead of theories to shoot facts.
If you say enough wacky shit with enough confidence, you don't convince anyone, Taylor. You just make them want to fact check you. As Socrates once said, the only true wisdom is knowing you know nothing. The same quote in Sheridanese probably goes something like this. Sorry, I meant it probably goes something like this. The only true f***ing wisdom is f***ing knowing what the f*** to do when someone f***ing offers you a f***ing plot of land with f***ing oil and you're supposed to f***ing take a drill and f***ing drill that f***ing oil out of the ground, god damn it.
You better f***ing be in tomorrow night when I f***ing call again, or there'll be f***ing hell to pay, I'm f***ing telling you, Harry.
He swears a lot, doesn't he?
It's a fake laugh. It's real! Totally fake.
But this is actually a symptom of a much deeper problem with the writing. These conversations just feel so surface level and stilted. I honestly can't believe the same guy that wrote this.
I've been poor my whole life. Told my parents, their parents before them. It's like a disease. Passing from generation to generation, becomes a sickness. That's what it is.
is now writing this.
Dickinson's sadness in me, I guess. So you're gonna have to make me laugh.
The dialogue that Sheridan used to write was weighty, almost poetic at times.
Nothing will make sense to your American ears. And you will doubt everything that we do. But in the end, you will understand.
Now, it's just basic, totally uninspired, and very clearly just a vehicle to move the plot forward at the expense of the characters saying anything interesting or memorable. Or it's memorable for the wrong reasons.
As long as he never in me, he can anywhere on me.
I really hope the old Taylor Sheridan is still in there somewhere, and that this is just a result of too many deadlines and not enough time.
But I doubt it.
Yes, all you bottle-fed white boys don't realize that these serve a purpose, and entertaining you isn't one of them. Well, I guess it's one of them, just not the main one.
You need anything from the kitchen?
Don't leave.
Are you hitting on this kid like a day after your husband blew up in front of all of his family? Members of which you know are kind of rough and rowdy? Yeah, this ain't normal. Not to be too old-fashioned, but your husband has been gone for what, all of 24 hours? You need to wait a couple of months. Cool your jets. I don't know, I'm no therapist. You might even need to wait like a year or more. Even if it's just for your own mental state. There's no way she's ready. She cannot be thinking clearly enough for this to be a good idea to flirt and date so soon after her spouse has died. Plus, it's a very bad look, especially as aforementioned in front of some of those more violent family members.
You ever put your arm around my cousin's dog?
Wow, I didn't see this coming from a mile away. I think it's fine as a plot development, but again, I have a problem with how and where the development originated. May I remind you, at the widow's house, brazenly on the couch, in front of everyone.
A hole in the wall where the men can see it all.
A better way to do this would have been like them going out into the backyard and talking, or maybe she gets his number on the sly and they're texting or calling each other later and someone finds out. That would have been a lot better of a setup for this conflict. Right now, it's just contrived and dumb.
So dumb, it's brilliant. No! It's just dumb.
What are those?
Wind turbines.
Ah yes, the famous wind turbine scene. Don't watch my video for an RKO takedown of this stupid scene. Watch the one that I linked in the description. But this is just more easily fact-checkable bullshit. And also,
What are those?
yeah, there's no f***ing way this woman has never seen or heard of a wind turbine. There's a whole Simpsons episode about them. There's a whole opening scene in Mission Impossible 3 about them. But more to the point, if you grew up in the United States and have ever taken a drive that lasts more than like 3 hours, you've probably seen a wind turbine yourself.
Out here.
Everywhere.
To be fair, her reaction after Tommy explains that it's a wind turbine implies that she does know what they are.
Out here. Green energy starting to push out the oil industry?
Which naturally begs the question, what the f*** did you think they could possibly be the first time? Ferris wheels?
What are those?
Use your goddamn brain, lady. But it's not her fault. It's his. This is a contrived excuse for badass oil man fount of wisdom Tommy to condescend to this dumb liberal city slicker. But why? She could have just led with this line.
Green energy starting to push out the oil industry?
And it would have been much more in keeping with the intelligence this woman supposedly possesses.
We have a 120-year petroleum-based infrastructure. Our whole lives depend on it. And believe me, if Exxon thought them things right there were the future, they'd be putting them all over the goddamn place.
Exxon drills oil for the same reason you just gave for why it's useless to try anything else in the United States. History. That's Exxon's business. That's what makes them money. For 100 years, it's what's made them money. Don't pretend like Exxon is a we are the world company that cares for the betterment of mankind that would drop everything and move on to a new energy source if it meant helping people. The CEO of Exxon would spend his weekends clubbing baby seals to death if it meant his profit margins would go up. I mean, shit, they're already basically there.
I figure, f it, while I'm at it, why not just shoot my buddy? Take his job, give it to his sworn enemy, hike up gas prices, bomb a village, club a baby seal, hit the hash pipe, and join the National Guard. I could be elected president.
My wife said after the credits rolled on this episode, "This show is stupid, and that's a lot coming from me who loves trashy TV." Also, by the way, Micah has enjoyed pretty much every other Taylor Sheridan show that she's seen on Paramount Plus. Spec Ops Lioness, 1883, 1923. So for her to say this, you know it's bad, and we're only on episode 3.
Anything else I can come up with, and when this is over in 7 years, you will be disbarred, and I will hang your law degrees over my f***ing toilet.
Why do I feel like Tommy's reaction here is literally Taylor Sheridan in the writer's room? He's so proud of himself. But this reminds me of another scene.
I'm gonna hang your diploma above my toilet.
Ah yes, that's it.
Aye, that one.
It was a dumb line then, and it's a dumb line now.
So dumb, it's brilliant. No! It's just dumb.
Also, how are you gonna get their legal degrees? How does that work exactly? I have asked this question twice already, and will continue to ask it if it comes up in future Taylor Sheridan projects that I have the misfortune of watching. Is it like some kind of a legal right? You must forfeit your law degree to the attorney that had you disbarred? Or is this just another shower argument-esque zinger Taylor cooked up while coked out in the writing room trying to finish the scripts to 5 different shows at 2 in the morning?
6 seasons in a movie. 6 seasons in a movie.
You decide. Take the wins where we can get them. I like this montage. I like the lighting. Sucker for silhouettes. Well done on this bit.
Pronounced Falcone, and it sounds like it's Italian.
No, it's actually not. It's pronounced Falcone. If we're gonna be splitting hairs on Italian, let's at least get it right. And I know what you're thinking, but Batman Begins.
Prison, he shared a cell with Carmine Falcone.
But the Penguin.
The murder of longtime mob boss Carmine Falcone.
They earned their leeway. They did not burn through all my goodwill within the first 5 minutes. Landman has earned this level of scrutiny. Falcone. Falcone. Practice with me. Falcone. Like that. Got it, Taylor? Remember a few episodes ago when the lawyer was complaining about the country music?
My truck, my f***ing music.
Listen. Why is she now listening to country music? This may feel unimportant, but it's the little details that an audience will notice during a film or a show that make the thing feel coherent and, more importantly, real. This is a big missed opportunity, in my opinion, for consistent character development that's not done through expository dialogue.
It doesn't matter, because even if there hadn't been a bust, we would have still ended. We're just oil and water. You know what I mean?
Not a bad character moment, really, not bad at all. There's echoes of the old Taylor Sheridan here.
What?
This is just weird, right? I'm not the only one? Great. I get that it's probably supposed to be the point, but this is such a gross, toxic, unhealthy relationship between 2 mostly unlikable characters that I'm absolutely going to complain about it.
Yeah.
Cooper.
Yeah, who's this?
Ariana. I need to see you. Can you do that for me?
This is also weird, right? I'm still not the only one? Great, let's move on.
Your husband's the first person I knew who died.
Well, hang on. How do you know? Let's rewind the tape.
I don't know. You got it? I'm looking. Hurry up!
He's bringing the 24.
I got this.
I got it.
He's bringing a 24.
I know this means literally nothing, and it was a figure of speech, and I'm being way too critical about this throwaway line, but f*** you, I'm having fun. Anyways, if I had to put money on any of these 3 having died first, I'm gonna put money on the one who caused the explosion in the first place, Old Man Jenkins here. So Cooper, in summation, you're full of shit. Her husband was not the first man that you knew who died. It was Old Man Jenkins.
Your husband's the first person I knew who died.
He was maybe 2nd or 3rd, not the first though.
The f*** is this, huh? Miss Peckerwood's mowing the f***ing lawn?
Yes, he's mowing the lawn. After he mowed the lawn in the back, weeded the garden, and built a budget.
How many times have you come by to help, huh?
Watch close, Manuel.
And there it is. She's right. First of all, she's right.
And you're right. You're right.
Her family has not really been helping her with the stuff that she really needs. But kissing Cooper in front of your violent cousin-in-law was not the move. This guy is dangerous, as evidenced by the gun. Look no further. But also, he's got a goddamn point. This is entirely too soon for you to be messing around with other men after your husband has died. I was kinda hoping that this relationship was gonna be a bait and switch and we weren't going down the incredibly obvious and f***ed road of her getting together with Cooper, but here we are. I don't like this. I'm not having a good time with this show, guys.
It didn't take you long to ruin that dinner. I spent all day shopping and decorating, cooking for you. And I need this to feel like a home if we're gonna be in it.
Well, do it for you. Do it because you like it. And don't expect us to appreciate it. I mean, we do, but don't expect it. See, that's the problem. You got this image in your brain of how everything's supposed to go. When it don't go the way you dreamed it up, you get pissed off, you throw a tantrum, and then I get pissed off, throw a bigger tantrum, and then we're back to square one.
This was actually pretty good. I liked this. She wants to feel like she's in a home. She wants to be appreciated. She feels that she's not being appreciated. This is a totally realistic reaction for a character like her. And Tommy's reaction, likewise, is totally realistic for a character like him. He's pretty good at talking to her about this too, although I will say her receptiveness and patience as he explains the world to her is maybe a bit of a bridge too far, but I digress. The reason I don't want to complain too much about him teaching her is because he's mostly right about what he's saying, and she's also really emotionally stunted and immature, so it would be kind of weird if she was the one that had it all figured out. But then we finish this all off with Gamilf.
I'm turning into a Gamilf.
The hell's a Gamilf?
A grandmother I'd like to fuck.
Gamilf.
Gamilf.
And then we move on to...
At what point are we in your menstrual cycle?
Huge, big fat yikes. First of all, what about the way that she's acting right now is one iota different from the way she acts usually. Why would you assume that it's her period that's causing her to break down? She's always like this. But more importantly, if she is on her period, why in God's name do you think that's a safe territory to venture into? A woman would not react kindly, and definitely not react this kindly, to having this asked of her in reference to an emotional episode.
Am I wrong?
It's coming any minute.
That's what I figured.
And don't take my word for it. I made sure to ask my wife how she would feel, and she said she would chop my fucking head off. Don't worry, that's a funny little joke that we tell each other. We're not actually gonna chop each other's heads off. It's more like a karate chop to like the larynx, but we do karate chop each other in the larynx. That's no joke. That's also a joke. But the point is, you don't say that to a woman, and a woman would not take that well. There's no way. Taylor, you sorta kinda had me at the beginning of this scene, then you lost me.
You've lost me completely.
This is gonna be fun. We should play one of those games. Every time you see an out-of-state license plate, you get a point. When you see a car with only one headlight working, you get 5 points.
God in heaven, this woman would be my nightmare. Why are we over halfway through the first season and Demi Moore is just now getting some real speaking lines? She's basically just been a very expensive recurring extra up to this point.
This is the infidelity clause of the agreement, which states should you engage in adultery, the settlement portion of the agreement will be nullified. Is it your statement that you did not engage in sexual relations with a Mr. Thomas Norris?
That's not adultery. He's my ex-husband.
That is the very definition of adultery.
Jeez, this woman is so delusional. Can't say she didn't have it coming. Can't say I'm not enjoying it.
We'll be right outside, Belle, okay?
To think I missed my first patch party for you.
I know that she's a dumbass teenager.
Well, I'm just a dumbass bug.
But f you, little asshole.
My only job is to make my man happy. And he will buy me the things that make me happy and take me to the places that make me happy. And I will reward him with sex. That's the way the world works, honey.
I'm so glad that we get a glimpse into the worldview of Mr. Sheridan here. You may say, that's not how Taylor Sheridan sees it, that's just how her character sees it. Okay, fair. If that's really true, I'm gonna expect some pushback on this later in the episode. But if we don't get that, I'm gonna go ahead and assume that an unchallenged maxim is a Sheridan maxim. This is the rule of thumb I apply to every film and television show that I watch.
What is that?
She's never heard of an assisted living home? Taylor, what the fuck? What's this?
What are those?
What's that?
What is that?
What's this? I'll tell you what this is. It's a man strapped for time who can't think of a better excuse to bring up these subjects than a fully grown character asking what a wind turbine is, or a nearly adult girl asking what an assisted living home is. In a nutshell, It's sloppy writing. That's what it is.
We could go visit them.
I wouldn't know what to say to him.
Honey, they wouldn't care what you say. They just care that you're saying it.
Do you think that Taylor realized by episode 7, wow, I've created a totally unlikable asshole of a character here. How can I give her some redeeming value? I know. She'll wheel around in her Bentley right as she was talking about doing a shopping spree and go visit some senile strangers. This, to me, feels totally out of character for her. Aside from cooking dinner for everyone else in the house, which we've already established was more a cry for attention than an actual bit of charity, this woman has not done one thing in this show that isn't self-serving. So why do I just not buy that she would want to go visit an old folks home out of the blue when they were driving around and wanting to go shopping? I mean, shit, the only reason she wanted to break the divorce news to her husband in person was so that she could have an excuse to pick up her car.
Navigator.
Just get to the fucking Bentley.
It ain't fair. Me in the bed, you on the couch. I'll sleep on top of the covers. You sleep under them.
Cooper is totally full of shit here. It ain't right that you can't sleep in your own bed. That's why I want you to sleep in the bed. It ain't 'cause I want to sleep in the bed with you. It's 'cause I think it ain't right you can't sleep in your own bed. Liar, liar, pants on goddamn oil derrick fire. You ain't that slick sport. I can see through you.
Like I see through the water that runs down my drain.
What we are offering her is almost $500,000. That is enough to pay off her mortgage, cover her bills for 2 decades, and still put that baby through college.
There's some sketchy math going on here. Let's try and fix it real quick. If you look up the average house prices in Midland, Texas, you will find that the mean house price is around $311,000. The median is almost $400,000. The company is offering a $500,000 almost settlement. So let's math this out. Let's just say for simplicity that she's going to get the full $500,000 as the settlement payment. She'll pay off what's left of her mortgage. Since we don't know exactly how long she's lived there and how much they've paid on the principal, we're gonna have to make some shit up. Splitting the difference between the median and the mean home prices, let's say that her house cost around $350,000, which is generous because it's at least a 3-bedroom house. And let's be generous again and say that they've already paid off around $50,000 on the principal. So she'll use around $300,000 of her payout to finish paying her mortgage. Her child is less than a year old, so she has a solid 18 more years to take care of it. I say it because I honestly forgot if it's a girl or a boy. Using this cost of living calculator, which I shall link in the description, I have divined that she needs a pre-tax income of around $70,000 per year to cover expenses. Post-tax, assuming taxes are around 20%, she's gonna need a net of $56,000 per year to take care of this kid for 18 years. So, $56,000 times 18 years is equal to $1,008,000. We've already blown way the past the $500,000 that she's supposedly going to receive for this settlement, but let's keep going. Let's address the final claim that girl boss, girl math lawyer lady makes.
And still put that baby through college.
Since everyone in this show has a hard-on for Texas Tech, let's assume that that's where this kid will want to go. The annual tuition cost for Texas Tech in-state is $11,852. So let's add that first annum of attending school by
3 annums
for a total of 4
annums,
and you get a total final cost for an undergraduate degree at Texas Tech of $47,408.
Oh dear, we are in trouble.
All told, raising her kid for 18 years, paying off what's left of her mortgage, and putting her child through college will roughly equate to $1,355,408. Let me ask you, dear viewer, is $500,000 less than $1,355,408?
Or more?
Hopefully you passed that question, but $500,000 is about 37% of what this woman will actually need to accomplish the lofty goals of Miss Falcone. Honestly, where's Beth when you need her? The one time I would have welcomed having an obnoxious savant Rain Man bullshit character present to correct the stupid math going on, and she's not here.
Yes, sir.
Hey there! I thought you were pretty hot shit after that deposition, but looks like you're getting hustled here by a f***ing worm off a workover crew.
Look, I've talked a lot of shit about this show, but can we all just take a second and appreciate John Hamm in this scene? He's great. good stuff going on here. I'll ignore Cooper all of a sudden knowing about OSHA codes and legal leverage when a few minutes ago under questioning he didn't know his ass from his elbow.
That's not fair. You probably do know your ass from your elbow.
But this scene is punchy and Captain John Hamm is chewing up the scenery. Too bad he's headed for Heart Attack Hot Springs.
It's too soon to feel what I feel for you.
Then we wait.
Finally! Thank you. Actually, thank you. Thank you.
I don't want to wait.
God damn it.
Where y'all headed tonight?
Bible study, sir.
What's the subject of tonight's Bible study?
Virtues of abstita?
Abstinence.
Abstinent, sir.
You know what that word means?
I do not, sir.
I always enjoy a father versus boyfriend standoff in the movies and in television. Sue me. I'm liking this. This is fun.
All those Chinese lithium mines are bad for the environment. They say that cattle burp is bad for the environment. Now they want to get rid of all the cattle. What about us? There's 7 billion of us. We don't burp. Solar panels and wind turbines kill these birds, disrupt their patterns. Then they stick them in the ocean and kill the whales.
I present for your consideration the kid that didn't know the word abstinence not 40 minutes ago.
Abstinent, sir.
But when he needs to, he becomes an elegant little Taylor Sheridan clone. I'm not going to comment on the substance of his arguments or lack thereof. I'm just going to point out that this is another example of characters doing something out of character when the show needs or wants them to.
Pump jacks are so stable, a means of extracting oil, they go unmonitored for years. There are pump jacks installed in the 1930s that are still in use. It would likely take a petroleum engineer to get one to blow.
Exhibit C of characters magically knowing things all of a sudden. I present for your consideration the woman who didn't know what a wind turbine was a few episodes ago.
What are those?
Bogeys in the target zone. Did they take hits?
Wait, I thought they said they weren't going to be using ordnance. Maybe I missed something? I don't know. Either way, this is a juicy development that will not go over well with Darwin Nunez and the Blowjob Brothers.
Your children and family are going to be there because they're your children and your family. But you could have them there because they're the people you spent your life with. So when that time comes like this, it's a celebration of your life, and you're not wishing you'd spend a little more time, seeing a few more sons come up. That's the trick.
Some tender stuff. I'm liking it. Giving credit where it's due.
So what's the plan? Live in the house my husband bought and raise his son and all the sacrifice that goes with it, because why? You took one look at this mess and I'm just supposed to believe that?
I'm sorry, this is just boring at this point.
Honestly, I've had my fill. It's gratuitous at this point.
I'm so tired of these two. Kudos, I guess, to her for seeing the situation with a little bit more clarity, but I'm just sick of these two characters.
I like those old folks a lot. Not enough to dry hump one of them.
But you're not doing it for you. You're doing it for them.
What am I supposed to wear?
You don't wear anything. You're a stripper.
Nope. Nope. Not okay. I was worried that this is where it was going, and my fears have now been realized. Not okay to ask your brand new boyfriend to strip for senior citizens. I won't even explain why. Should be self-evident.
It is a self-evident truth.
Definitely not okay to coerce him when he says no. All told, least offensive episode so far.
You want to know the last thing that I said to him? You need a shave. And the last thing I said to him is you need a f***ing shave.
Demi Moore appreciation time. Despite her being relegated to sort of clueless housewife, she's playing her part really well. I almost felt something. Also, this is the longest I've made it into an episode without writing a note down, and it's a positive note. The finale's off to a pretty good start.
How old are you?
Good point. I totally forgot. If this kid is underaged, my word, I'm supposed to laugh at these little jokes.
My little joke.
But I'm starting to get seriously creeped out about how over-sexualized these underaged kids are in this show.
I'm sorry, I made a little joke.
This is the stupidest thing I've ever done in my life.
Probably true, but hey, you may have grounds to sue for underage prostitution. Silver linings.
And I would like to point out I am licensed to carry concealed in this state.
I'd like to point out, Rebecca, that you don't need a license to carry concealed in this state. It's why we all wave at each other when we're driving, because everybody's f***ing armed.
Okay, Taylor. Okay, I see what you're saying. I get it. You may be right. You might be right. Let's look into it a little bit. So Texas is the 14th state in which you are most likely to die on the freeway. That's not the worst, but obviously not the best. We're still in the 78th percentile. So not great so far, Taylor, but let's check the gun deaths per capita statistics in 2024. That'll give us a little bit more illumination. It looks like Texas was roughly the 50th percentile for gun deaths in 2024, but Tommy's claim here is that's because of the concealed carry laws.
It's why we all wave at each other when we're driving, because everybody's f***ing armed.
If Tommy's claim is true, then the concealed carry states should not rank high on the gun deaths per capita list, right? If deaths directly correlate to being able to defend yourself, this should be the case, right? We shouldn't see any of the concealed carry states really high up on the list, according to Taylor Sheridan's logic. In 2024, here were the top 10 gun death states per capita and whether or not you can carry concealed. Number 1, Mississippi, conceal carry. Number 2, Louisiana, conceal carry. Number 3, New Mexico, no conceal carry. Number 4, Wyoming, conceal carry. Number 5, Alabama, concealed carry. Number 6, Montana, concealed carry. Number 7, Alaska, concealed carry. Number 8, Arkansas, concealed carry. Number 9, Missouri, concealed carry. Number 10, Tennessee, concealed carry.
Guns. Lots of guns.
I'm not saying that the concealed carry laws are the cause of these gun deaths. All I'm saying is it's horseshit to imply that the question is as simple as this.
Because everybody's armed.
Only one state in the top 10 for gun deaths in 2024 isn't a concealed carry state, that being New Mexico. It's almost like it's a more complex question than Taylor Sheridan is giving it credit for. I'm not saying that I'm anti-gun. I'm not anti-gun. But these cute little sound bites diminish the complexity of the problem. They really do it a disservice. And what I find even more annoying is that they strawman the opposing viewpoint. I find that annoying, just like I would find it annoying if a liberal show did a similar thing on the reverse of this issue. This was a pretty strong correlation, but I cannot imagine it's as simple as who's allowed to carry an ankle gun and who's not.
This baby right here. An ankle gun? Who told you I had an ankle gun?
Damn it. The finale was going decently well. I think I might be developing some Stockholm syndrome for this show, but I really kind of am cheering for it in a demented way. Unfortunately, this little nugget of truth was just too much to ignore. The return of Darwin Nunez and the Blowjob Brothers.
And you know who's gonna climb over this site next? Congratulations, dude. You just shut yourself down. Did you run this by the boss? Yeah, I didn't think so.
I mean, he doesn't need to respond. You're completely at their mercy. Don't shoot your mouth off, Beth Dutton. Not with Darwin Nunez and the Blowjob Brothers. They'll f you good.
Fuck you right in your little asshole.
Nobody can escalate this higher than we can. It ain't nothing for us to throw 10 or 20 billion dollars at a problem. Nothing.
That's a lie.
You were just saying earlier in this episode while breaking it down for Ms. Lawyer Lady that if you go bust on 4 of the wells you're planning to build with the 12% interest rate, it would bankrupt the company.
Pretty good deal when it's 2% interest. But at 12%, we're bankrupt in a month. It turns out the first 9 are dry holes.
So what do you mean it's nothing to throw 10 to 20 billion at a problem? It's absolutely something. You've admitted as much. Ending here on a positive note though, this is an interesting relationship that's poised to continue into season 2. I always like a soft-spoken mob or cartel guy, and this is a compelling setup. Well, there we have it. Watched all 10 episodes of Landman. Some good?
Some bad.
Well, mostly bad, but it's not without its qualities. Landman,
Captain of
Paramount Plus.
to show his quality.
There are bits and pieces of the Taylor Sheridan that I love from this show, but there's also so much lazy setup, cringy dialogue, obnoxious characters, and thinly veiled propaganda that it's most definitely a net negative for me. But I'll reiterate, I do not hate this as much as I hate Yellowstone. I simply knew what I was getting into this time. My principal issues still revolve around the writing. Characters can't just be whoever you need them to be whenever you need them to be, especially if it doesn't jive with who they've been thus far. You shouldn't use them to spout verifiably false or at the very least contentious statements without any pushback. And I cannot stand the times where new plot points are developed or new shower argument monologues are unlocked using this shitty new trick.
What is that?
What are those?
I will not stand for them.
Although this script was pretty fun to write, I think I'm gonna refrain from doing any more CinemaSins style videos in the future, frankly because this was a beast to put together. If you've made it this far, bless you for entertaining my ramblings. Please like and subscribe. Looking to watch a good drama about pumping oil, kicking ass, and dealing in the morally gray areas of business? Watch There Will Be Blood. You're welcome. Anyways, let's all hope and pray that Taylor Sheridan gets back to writing movies in the near future.
But I doubt it.